Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Starcastica Mark. Stars win tonight with the final score 5-2 over the Columbus Blue Jackets. The boys are back. Duchesne returns, Foxa returns, and they both show up in big ways tonight, leading to, after the first 10 minutes, a complete trounce of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Hello, James. How was the hockey game?
It was good once the Stars figured out that they were playing tonight. So
there is some extreme consistency there, and I was saying in our little Discord chat earlier that this game felt like all the other games, just more. I mean, it wasn't the full first period that was bad for the Stars, but it was isolated. The first 10 minutes were absolutely terrible. Like maybe the worst 10 minutes the Stars have played all season long. And then somehow after the second goal scored by Columbus, just an immediate flip was switched and they start playing good again.
Yeah, it's so weird. And that also just shows like how well we can turn momentum as well. I mean, if that second line doesn't score right after the second goal from the Blue Jackets, I mean, we're probably down 3-0 at the end of the first. I mean, and we saw in previous games where we were getting rolled in the first and we never caught back up until the period ended. I mean,
yep.
The goals help to get you back in it, but it's frustrating because it shouldn't be that way from puck drop because the game is 0-0. I mean, nothing has happened for either team. Y'all are at an even playing field.
Yep. It feels like every single game for the Stars have entered the game and waited and been like, all right, we're going to make the other team decide when the game starts. And they've just waited for the other team to take the lead at the very least. I think there's only one game this season where we scored first in the first period. And I think that was like the third game of the season, maybe. In either way, it was still bad. The first 10 minutes, absolutely awful. Like I said, probably the worst first 10 minutes we played all season long. It was not just the quantity of shots by the Blue Jackets those first 10. Almost all their shots were really high danger chances the entire time. If you go over and look at Money Puck, the first 10 minutes, the Blue Jackets are already at like 0.75 expected goals for in that first period. In the first 10 minutes, I mean. So crazy there. And then, like you said, timely goal and completely flips the switch. And that actually leads to the Stars out shooting the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first period 13-7. So how was the rest of that first period?
I mean, it was great. Again, once we woke up, I mean, all four lines were rolling. They basically, the Blue Jackets didn't get to touch the puck again. They got one shot after we scored a goal, a single shot after that. And this is why it's so frustrating because they do this and we know that the Stars are that good. We know that they can do that. And they just decide not to in the first, however long they decide that they're not going to play for that night. And I think this is probably the longest that we've seen them play good for. I mean, they played good for 50 minutes. They really did. But the first 10 sucked so bad. We still gave up 2 goals in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yep. And like you said, the next 50, probably the best 50 minutes in a row that we have played as the Stars. I mean, scoring 5 goals tonight, I think that's our highest of the season so far. Or it at least ties it. I know that. It's either tops or it ties it. We talked about a little bit off the bat. Duchesne, absolutely incredible tonight. 3-point night, 1 goal, 2 assists. Should have had more assists. Marchment had many great chances that he shot over the top of the net. That second line was just rolling the entire time. 1 goal for each of them. Marchment, Seguin, and Duchesne all scored, and they were fantastic. Talk a little bit about that line.
We really. I mean, they could have just scored the timely goal after the second goal from the Blue Jackets, and that would have been enough, I think. But, I mean, they rolled all night long, and they just looked ridiculous. Duchesne was on some kind of high coming back from an injury. I mean, he had the 3 points in the game, and then he's running down the side of the rink and does a spinorama backhand from like a 30-degree angle. It's like, what? Okay. But that just shows, like, how confident and how good he was feeling tonight. And that's really, really good to see, especially since he was out for a game or 2.
And that's what we talked about before he went out too, is how confident and just he'll do whatever he wants with the puck. And that play that you said is exactly proof of that. He's got the exact same moxie and swagger that he had before he got injured. Great to see him picking up where he left off and then some even, because I mean, this is probably the best individual performance we've seen from a Stars player so far this season. And it was absolutely incredible from Duchesne tonight. Huge props to him. Next guy that also came back, who had a very good night that I need to point out whenever I can, because I don't like him very much, Radek Faksa. Absolutely great game by him as well.
Yeah, and surprisingly, finally gets his first point.
First point of the season.
And it was his first good shot of the season, too.
Yeah, his good shot is shoot it where the goalie can't catch it. And that's exactly what he needs to do.
And it worked.
It worked perfectly. He shoots it on net. On the far pad side, it gets kicked out right to our boy Smith, who buries it in pretty much an open net, and that gets our fourth line on the board. And really good to see the fourth line cashing in when we've got Foxes, Smith, and Steele on the ice tonight.
Yeah, and it feels like Smith just knows where to go for this line specifically. I mean, he knows that like there's not goal scorers on this line, so he's just going to go to the spot where the goal scorer would normally be. And it's worked for him many times now.
And both Smith and Steele have showed that they definitely have much more offensive upside than our fourth liners did last year in Kiviranta, Glendening. It's just, it's pretty apparent if you're watching the game that they have a knack for the offensive side of the ice too. It's not just the defending. And they still have that as well. We've seen both of those guys play on the penalty kill for us too. Both of those guys coming back, that's great to have the full lineup back. Don't have to play 11-7 again, which obviously didn't work out very well. Who else was good tonight, James? Help me out here.
Suter was pretty good. He didn't get to play the
puck,
which is great. I love it when Suter doesn't get to play the puck because he looks amazing and it makes Jim Nill look like a genius.
And I'm going to defend him a little bit on your didn't play the puck. He played the puck pretty well in the offensive zone tonight.
Not in his own zone. That's the key part. If he touches it in his own zone, it's instantly in the other team's hands.
He looked extremely good in the offensive zone tonight. Made a couple of really good keeps, a couple of good shots that really could have been deflected in. Really loved Suter's play tonight. He was rewarded for it by the coaching staff. Almost 22 minutes time on ice for the old timer.
He really played good.
He had an especially good game tonight. As did Miro Heiskanen, as he always does. We see him on the power play tonight, staying out there for the full 2 minutes, which is kind of what I called for a couple of times last season. I mean, he's so good, and he's such an integral part of us moving the puck across the blue line, and his stick handling ability is so top tier. You kind of need it, and he can do it. So why not? And I think especially when you get to like the end of games, bigger power plays and third periods, or when you get into the postseason, being able to do that and him being ready to take on extra minutes in that area will definitely be helpful for big time power plays.
And if you want to talk about the power play now, I mean, man,
yeah,
that's a topic, man. I mean, that's the one place the nice thing tonight was that we did a lot of things offensively other than just score on the rush, which, I mean, obviously we pulled from the Boston game and used it. I mean, Sagan got the tip goal. We had multiple times where we just outchanged the opponent by cycling
fantastic.
It looked great. And we got goals in different ways, and it looked dangerous. I mean, the only place that it feels like we need to fix now is the power play. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And really, once they figure it out, like once they finally get like goals that like are power play goals and not just like off the rush and they get a chance and it goes in, the dam could really break for this team, because they did it last year. If they get into the rhythm again, it's going to come right back to them.
Yeah, the broadcast on ESPN Plus was kind of talking about how that might be a key just to Dallas's offense in general. Didn't really work out that way tonight. We didn't need it. We got them all 5-on-5, but being able to just unlock the power play, especially for the first line, I think, because they've definitely struggled the past 3 games.
And they looked the worst tonight too. I mean, they were the worst unit.
And that's even when our fourth liners were able to get those changes and outchange the Blue Jackets. Like you said, I think it happened 2 or 3 times. We got the first line out there with a tired line on the ice, and about 20 seconds later, they turn the puck over and it's out of their zone. So that definitely needs to be figured out. But like they said on the broadcast, that power play really could be a key to that. And I think that could also just mentally be weighing on them throughout the entirety of the game. I mean, you're
I'm
you're
sure
saying
it
we
is.
had
I
one of the
mean,
best.
they're like 31st in the league, right? Or
Yeah,
it's like 29th, I think, right now. But that
they
doesn't
were
help.
and they were one of the best last year.
Yeah,
So to go
top
from
10
one of the
all year
best
long.
to that bad with no changes in personnel at all, that's going to weigh on you a little bit. And I think I tend to agree with what they said on the broadcast. Once that power play opens up, which it's still, there was good looks tonight. I mean, especially the second unit looked extremely good, but that's just because Duchesne, Sagan, Marchment were
ridiculous,
just
tonight.
rolling tonight. But the first unit still looked better too. We just need something to go in.
I really feel like
someone's butt.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. I mean, there were 3 chances on one of our power plays where we had 1 shot on goal, like 3 great chances, and we missed the net on 2 of them. Like, guys, you got to make them save the puck.
And I think
it
that
can't
might
go in the net if you don't shoot it on the net.
And that might be squeezing the stick a little bit tighter, trying to aim a little bit too much. I mean, just get it to the wing, take a one-timer, and schmack it. I mean, it can't be any worse than what's happening right now on the power play. Anyway, other than the first 10 minutes in the power play, though, this game pretty much perfect, pretty much exactly what you want. The defense was spectacular. There was almost nothing really dangerous on Ottinger. After the first 10 minutes, there was a couple of chances on odd man rushes, which were definitely a problem at the beginning of the season. Seemed like a little bit more of a problem in this game. But they were all off the rush. No extended zone time. But yeah, what were we saying?
It's a fast young team. They're looking for picks like that. I mean, that's something that you see in Johnson's play, especially. They look for these pickoff plays now, and they're not just waiting for the other team to make a mistake. They are making them make mistakes. So that was definitely part of the game tonight as well.
Yeah, you don't want to slip back into that either, though. I mean, that could really be rough. Another specific player I wanted to point out, just rethought about it when I looked at his name. Really great segue there. But Lundqvist and Harley both played an extremely good game, and I would say Lundqvist especially tonight. Couple of really fantastic defensive plays in his own zone. Even on 2-on-1s, I think I saw 2-on-1s that Lundqvist broke up on his own. He also gets 2 assists tonight, including the Sagan deflection, which he was absolutely looking for there. That was pretty much all him, and he gets the assist on the Duchesne goal. He was fantastic tonight, and again, rewarded with time on ice. I'm really liking the way that they're rolling the defensive unit out with rolling with the hot hand. Whoever's playing best that night is going to play more, and I love that.
And it's worked so far from the looks of it. I mean, and then if no one's playing good, Miro Heiskanen just plays 28 minutes and you're fine.
And he can actually kind of do that. But yeah, that was actually a really great final 50 minutes. If we can figure out how to get the full 60 together, I think this team is on its way. And if they can figure out the power play, but we've done a lot of complaining this week, I feel like. So I think we should be happy with our 5-2 win over an inferior opponent. And it's a great start to the road trip. The Stars move on to play a couple of lackluster teams. They should get 3 out of 3 on this road trip.
This is what the Stars are kind of best at. It's beating the bad teams. I mean, we did not lose to very many bad teams last season, despite how we overreacted every time we lost to one. I mean, we lost to the Canucks 3 times. That was the worst, like, bad team that we played last year that we consistently lost to.
Yep. So the next 2 games on this road trip, we're playing Winnipeg, who's playing a little bit higher than their expectations, but still not fantastic team. They're on the bubble. We definitely outskilled them. We got Minnesota on Sunday on a back-to-back. That'll be a little bit tougher. Thankfully, with Saturday, it's actually a 3 p.m. start, and then Sunday is a nighttime start, so a little bit of extra time there for rest. But we're also playing our nemesis Fleury, probably, who loves playing against the Dallas Stars on Sunday.
But you know who loves playing against Fleury?
Jake Ottinger. We might be 1-2.
I really want to see
game
Otter
there
on the second night.
And then Tuesday we're playing against we're playing at Arizona, who is actually surprisingly good. That'll be fun to watch, that Arizona team. I'm really excited for that game there. But anything you got for tonight, James, before we get to our biggest winner, biggest loser?
No, I'm watching the Sharks Edmonton game on the side, and it's interesting to say the least.
The battle for the bottom. Everybody tune in. All right, James, biggest winner, biggest loser. Give me some.
Biggest winner is Matt Duchene without a doubt. 3-point night after coming back from the hit that he got shaken up on, comes back and instantly helps score a goal that it was critical early, right when we needed it, and then he gets a breakaway and scores another, and then he helps set up another one. So it's just great stuff from a dude who we're paying $3 million this year to play on our second line, which is really the biggest deal about it. I know we only have him for 1 year, but as Chris would say, boy howdy is he good.
Boy howdy is he good. I'm gonna give mine to Mason Marchment, because we talked so bad about him last game, and he screwed us last game in a couple of different ways, but he was fantastic tonight. He should have had a hat trick. I mean, he had so many great scoring chances that he just missed the net with.
That's I really credit that to Duchene more than I credit it to Marchment. I mean, Marchment
fantastic passes
is fast, but I mean, with Seguin and Duchene on your line, you better get some chances and you better get some goals.
And Marchment was in the right spot. I mean,
and he didn't take a penalty.
And he did take a penalty. He actually drew a penalty.
Although he did serve a penalty.
He did serve a penalty. Yes. Way to go, Otter. That was a terrible call, by the way. Oh my goodness. That was a dive and a half. Biggest loser, James.
Adam Fantilli for saying he didn't get high sticked and then getting an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, which okay, but
yeah, normally you just say, "Oh, never mind, no penalty," but sure, you give him an unsportsmanlike penalty for saying you didn't get high sticked. Yeah, kind of confused there. My biggest loser, I guess we're gonna give it to the first line tonight because we're probably not gonna be able to say that very often. They've had one goal in the past 3 games when there was actually a goalie in the net, so that is not acceptable for that line, obviously. A big part of that is probably their struggles on the power play, but I mean, that's on them too. I mean, it's those 3 guys are our power play. They've really got to figure it out. I'm glad we're a good enough team to be able to win these games still rather easily without those guys, but they need to get going. That's how we're going to beat those better teams that we've lost to recently here, is we have to have our top line going and these other lines need to be moving as well. And that's when we're a cup contender, is when the top line is playing like the top line and we're getting support by these other 2 lines on a game-by-game basis. They don't all have to be going at the same time. The top line needs to get some scoring consistently and sprinkle it on top with some Johnston, Duchene, Ben, Seguin stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time in a long time, though, that a line other than the first line has just taken over the game. I mean, the second line absolutely took over the game, and they won the game for us. I mean, they did, without a doubt.
Absolutely dominant, and Duchene being so dominant as well. And like you said, right after being bought out and is on a $3 million contract, I mean, that's a chip on your shoulder game is what it felt like right there. And he was great. Loved it. So
can't wait to play the Predators with him.
Can't wait to play. That's true. We'll see what happens there. I don't even know when we play the Predators next. Not for a while, I don't think. But
I don't think it is either.
We'll see you back here again on Saturday. Maybe afternoon, maybe evening. We'll have to talk about whenever that's coming. That's at a weird time. 3 p.m. is kind of weird. But I'm sure we'll get an AJR out to you guys at some point on Saturday. Any closing thoughts for us tonight, James?
Go join the Discord.
Yes, go join the Discord. We had the live game chat going on in there. If y'all just want to chat, talk crap during the game, make snide comments, head on over there. Get our immediate reactions, too. We are posting our immediate reactions on there as well, and we can gauge off y'all, too. That would be a lot of fun. Go check out the Discord. Thanks to our sponsors, DraftKings and Raycon. Use promo code THPN on their sites. Get some free stuff, some discounts, things like that. Be sure to check out our website, StarcastRemarks.com. Really cool stuff there. Blog posts. You can check out our new episodes on there. Bookmark that on your tab. Check it every so often. And I think that'll do it for us. We'll see you guys again on Saturday. And we'll close it out with a big ol' GG, boys.